In a distant future, the Earth had transformed. Vast cities towered over the remnants of nature, their glass and steel structures piercing the sky like the fangs of ancient beasts. Amidst this urban sprawl, humanity had reclaimed its dominion, but the echoes of past glories and failures lingered in the air. The apex predators of Earth, once the ruling creatures of the wild, were now only whispers in the annals of history. Long before, the world had been home to magnificent beings, dinosaurs, mammoths, and other formidable creatures that roamed the planet freely. They thrived in an ecosystem that balanced life and death. But as time progressed, the most dangerous predator of all emerged: humanity. The rise of civilization brought with it a thirst for knowledge and expansion, but it also heralded an era of destruction. Each conquest of nature was celebrated as progress, yet it left a scar on the planet that would never heal. The apex predators that once roamed freely began to dwindle, their populations decimated by hunting, habitat loss, and climate change. Among the last of these mighty beings were the Varachai, a race of intelligent reptilian creatures that had once dominated the land, sky, and sea. The Varachai were the ultimate survivors. Standing 12 feet tall, their scales shimmered in iridescent hues, and their elongated tails could easily slice through the thickest of underbrush. They were known for their unparalleled hunting prowess, employing tactics that reflected both brute strength and cunning intelligence. But their most remarkable trait was their ability to communicate through a complex language of colors and sounds, which allowed them to coordinate hunting strategies and social structures. As humanity expanded its reach, the Varachai found themselves increasingly cornered. They became the last line of defense against the destruction of their habitats. The Varachai were not merely beasts, they were sentient beings with a culture rich in history and tradition. Yet, this was lost on the encroaching human civilization, which saw them only as obstacles to be eliminated. In the shadows of the sprawling metropolis, a lone Varachai named Kyle felt the weight of his kind's impending doom. His once vibrant territory had shrunk to a fraction of its former size, the lush forests replaced by concrete jungles. Kale was among the last of his kind, and each day brought news of fallen kin, their bodies reduced to mere trophies in the hands of hunters. Despite their plight, Kale remained resolute. He often wandered to the remnants of the old world, seeking solace in the whispering winds that carried the scent of ancient flora. Here he dreamed of a day when the Varachai could reclaim their land. He believed that if they could unite, they could drive the humans back and restore balance to the world. One fateful night, as Kale prowled through the ruins of a forgotten city, he stumbled upon a group of humans celebrating their latest conquest. They reveled in their triumph, brandishing weapons that glinted in the moonlight. Kyle's heart raced as he recognized the insignia on their uniforms, a mark of the hunters who had decimated his kin. Fueled by a mix of anger and sorrow, Kale resolved to confront them. He slithered silently through the shadows, his scales reflecting the dim light, until he was mere feet away from the revelers. The humans laughed boisterously, recounting tales of their hunts. Kale's breath caught in his throat as he heard the names of his fallen brothers and sisters spoken casually, as if they were nothing more than game. As the laughter echoed around him, Kale unleashed a primal roar that reverberated through the night. The humans fell silent, their faces draining of color as they turned to face the source of the sound. In that moment, the predator became the prey, and Kale seized the opportunity to strike fear into their hearts. With agility that belied his size, he charged into their midst, a blur of scales and muscle. The humans scrambled, fumbling for their weapons, but Kyle was faster. He knocked them aside, his powerful tail sending several crashing to the ground. Panic set in, and the once boisterous celebration turned into chaos. Kyle didn't seek to kill, he sought to send a message. He wanted the humans to understand the cost of their actions. As the last of the hunters fled in terror, Kale stood amidst the chaos, his chest heaving, the weight of his kin's loss heavy upon him. He howled into the night, a call for unity among the remaining Varachai. Word of Kale's bravery spread like wildfire. His act of defiance inspired hope in the hearts of the few Varachai who remained. They began to rally, forming a coalition of the last surviving members of their kind. The tales of Kale's confrontation served as a catalyst, igniting a fire within the hearts of the Varakai that had long been dormant. United, they began to reclaim their territory, using their intelligence and strength to disrupt the humans' operations. They employed guerrilla tactics, striking swiftly and retreating before the humans could mount a defense. As the days turned into weeks, the balance of power began to shift. The humans, once the uncontested rulers of the land, found themselves on the defensive. But Kale knew that their actions needed to transcend mere vengeance. He longed for coexistence, for a world where humans and Varakai could share the land, respecting the boundaries of each other's territories. He understood that to achieve this, he needed to communicate with the humans, not through violence, but through understanding. In a bold move, Kyle chose to approach the humans, not as a beast, but as a being deserving of respect. He crafted a plan to confront the leaders of the human settlements, to convey his message and seek a truce. Under the cover of night, he made his way to the largest settlement, a towering fortress of steel and glass. As dawn broke, Kyle stood at the edge of the settlement, his massive form silhouetted against the rising sun. He raised his arms, signaling his intent. The humans, wary yet curious, gathered to witness this spectacle. Kale let out a series of melodic sounds, his scales shifting colors to convey his emotions. Slowly, a hush fell over the crowd. Kale's message resonated in the hearts of those who watched. They saw not a monster, but a creature fighting for its existence. After what felt like an eternity, one human stepped forward, a leader who had seen the devastation wrought upon the land and understood the futility of war. In that moment of connection, Kale and the leader found common ground. They spoke of loss, of survival, and the need for a new beginning. The Varakai and humans could forge a path together, one that respected the balance of life. The road ahead was fraught with challenges. But as the first rays of sunlight illuminated the dawn of a new era, both sides realized that the true apex predator of the earth was not a single species, but the shared spirit of survival that could unite them all.